What's up, and welcome to Music Hustlers. My name is Kenny, and I'll be your host. Today, we've got a special guest. We've got my best friend. I've talked about him like 400 times on the podcast.
Yeah.
And now he's here hanging out with me. I'm really excited to chat with him and just kind of dive into his journey. We're going to talk all about finding your voice as a vocalist because I've known this guy for a long time. I've seen him in a lot of bands, and I feel like finally, at this point in his career, he has found his voice, and I think he has a lot of value, a lot of things that he could say to you guys that will help you. So without further ado, Jacob Eldridge, man, how are you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
I'm good, thank you. I'm doing really good. Had a good day today.
Yeah?
Ready to get this done.
What'd you do before you got here?
Went Funko Pop hunting.
Oh.
That's my new thing.
Did you pick up anything slick? Or?
Yeah, so today was more about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I got two, but
Nice.
they're like two very important ones that I was really excited about. So
Nice. That's
nice.
tight.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Really
I've always seen like pops and stuff. I always kind of wanted to get into it. I've
Yeah.
never would.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's addicting and it's very expensive.
yeah. That's what they say. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So let's kind of start from the beginning. So, as I said to these guys, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and I kind of wanted to dive, all the way back into your first band, or I think it was your first band. It may not have been your first band, but it was the first band I knew about.
Yeah.
I believe they were called The Silenced or Etheria.
Etheria, yeah. The Silenced was the original name of Etheria, and yeah, that was my very first band ever.
Yeah. Let's talk about your first show experience. What was that like for you?
Ooh, okay, yeah, that was at the Clubhouse. Technically, my first show was like an alt rock show at the
Nice.
Clubhouse, but I don't remember anything about it. I just remember that it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. But my second show was at the Clubhouse, and that was Lorne Battle.
Nice.
Nice. And I distinctly remember that was literally the pivotal, like, changing moment of my life, because watching them, I had never experienced, mosh pits and like hardcore dancing and stuff. I did not listen to heavy music, and watching the way that Joey commanded the crowd and like just the way that he did his thing, like it spoke to me. Like it was weird. It was like I decided right then and there, I'm gonna do this.
Nice.
Like I want to do what he's doing, and just went full like head first into it. Nice. As hard as I could.
Nice. Yeah. And that's when you linked up with the dudes at Etheria?
Yeah, so I want to say probably it took a minute because I needed to learn how to start screaming. I had never screamed before. I didn't even listen to screaming, so I didn't know where to start. So I got on YouTube.
Nice.
And
nice.
So yeah, about a year later, I want to say, after that first show, I don't even remember how I met the guys. I think I went to school with one of them, maybe. No, I do remember one of them was friends with my brother. And then they were like, hey, we're looking for a vocalist. And my brother was super about me getting into it. So he's like, you should check out these guys or whatever.
Nice.
And we did a few tryouts, and yeah, I got in. It's your typical, first band though, like local, like you don't want to remember it, like nothing against the guys and everything. A lot of them are doing good stuff now and stuff, but it's very embarrassing. Sounded really bad.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, we've all got projects in the past.
Yeah. I'll say this though, it was very important because by the end of like my road with them or whatever, they kicked me out because I wasn't good. Okay. I was very bad. I will say straight out, I was very bad. If you look up, I can't remember the YouTube. There's stuff on YouTube of my original, like me very first screaming. I did a Screamo cover of Two Step.
Yeah.
What is it, DJ Unk, right? I did like a Broken Side cover of that. Garbage, and you'll see why they kicked me out. But they kicked me out, and that was the push that I needed. That was like, okay, this just happened to me. I need to step up. I need to be better. And that was what really like just fucking kickstarted for me to get to where I am now, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the first step.
And that's okay. So about like keeping in that timeline there.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that was when we actually linked up, when we first started to hang out and stuff.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. I think that you remember this, but a little bit before, because you're about to talk about Boldly.
Yeah, but before that,
and a little bit. So between Etheria and Boldly, there was a little bit of a studio project where it didn't go anywhere. but it was with Jesse.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever. Oh, Ghost of a King.
Yeah.
Ghost of a King.
There was that song on MySpace.
Yes.
Yep.
MySpace. But
Kevin Easterday was in that band.
yes, he was. Keenan, Kenny hit us up on MySpace, and he offered us a show. And the guys were like, "No, dude, don't trust it. This guy's like fucking whatever, like talking all kinds of mad stuff and everything." Nice. I was like, "Okay, I didn't know anything better." But then I did my first show with Boldly, which Boldly was the first band that like I put together, and like I was the one in charge or whatever. Like I was running things, I was the business guy. And our first show, Keenan's there. Kenny's there. Do you mind? It's going to be so hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've known him for so long. Keenan is what I know. But yeah, so the first show that we played, Keenan was there. He was wearing a purple shirt with a smiley face on it, and he threw down for us harder than anybody. And he's like, "We should start doing shows together." And I think after our next show, he helped us promote the next show, and we had decided that he was going to manage us, and like that was the beginning of this friendship.
Yeah, that's
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago.
Purple shirt. I remember that shirt.
Yeah.
That Kool-Aid shirt that I
Yeah.
had.
Yeah. That was nuts.
Yeah. I was the only guy. Everyone else was in black. I was all like, nope,
Yep.
I got my purple shirt.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
But yeah, no, and then so let's kind of transition there into the Boldly days.
Yeah.
You guys recorded that one song, Sam the Brave.
Yep.
And then you guys did a full EP after that. But
Yeah.
let's talk about your experience kind of recording,
Mm-hmm.
like just recording with that band. Like
Yeah.
what was your initial goals? What were you trying to accomplish with that band there?
I mean, really, honestly, it was, kind of a revenge play against Etheria for kicking me out. I'll be honest. That was I was petty back then. I'm still petty now. Like, it was my full driving force was like, I'm going to show you guys, right? That was my whole thing. So, that's what really pushed me to like be in that band and like, do whatever that I could with it. But as far as like, inspirations musically and stuff, I started listening to like The Plot in You. That's where I got like I get a lot of Discount Landon Tours, and that's where it came from, because he was my idol then, he's still my idol now, and that's where I based a lot of my vocals off of.
Good old Landon Tours. I remember when I was actually just thinking about that today when you shaved your head, because you were all huge on having long hair.
Yeah.
And then you shaved your head because Landon Tours shaved his head.
Shaved for Landon. There was the Boldly update video. We used to do the update videos, and I was editing them. And Keenan is telling the rest of my band, "Don't tell Jake, but I'm going to cut my hair." And that's how serious I was about it. Like, I didn't want anybody to cut their hair. But then Landon did the shave for Landon thing. I shaved my head, and I started telling everybody to shave their head. Bandwagon for sure. That's fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you record the EP with Boldly. That band ends up, I think you guys, what happened there?
The end of them, we kind of just like hit a wall, and we felt like we've been doing this for so long and it's not going where we want it to go, so we're just gonna, everybody kind of started doing their own side projects. I started messing around with Scylla, filling in for them and stuff, so we kind of just decided it's time, and just moved on from there.
So then you were in Scylla
Yep.
for a little bit.
Yep.
And Scylla's not really...
Not
what
my
you were
style
playing.
at all.
Yeah.
It was not my style at all, and I was trying to push them towards that direction, but it was the first time I worked with, like, nothing against the other guys then, like Boldly, Etheria, stuff like that, but we were all new, we were all fresh. Scylla was the first band where I was working with musicians who had been musicians for a while and knew what they were doing, and that's, I think, why I was so comfortable with, working with them, even though it wasn't my style. We talked about it becoming my style. It was moving there a little bit with, what was it, Conqueror, I think we named it?
Yeah, Conqueror and Anonymous.
Yes.
Was another one.
Yeah, but then I moved out of state, so so that fell.
That's right.
That
so
fell apart.
You move out of state. You go to Indiana for a little bit.
Yep.
Spend some time in Indiana. What were you doing any music out there or anything? Or?
I tried. So that was another like the silenced Etheria type situation. I joined a band out there, and we booked a show. We wrote a bunch of stuff. We booked a show. The day of the show, the band calls me and says that I'm out. Like, they kicked me out. And didn't really tell me why. I had no idea why. All I know is when I was joining the band, the guitarist was going to be the vocalist.
Oh, damn.
And so he ended up doing vocals instead at the show. I think it was just a power thing. Yeah. Like, he wanted to be the vocalist, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got kicked out of that band. And a few months later, me and Jarko decided Jarko's my brother. We decided that we were just going to move back. And once I got back, same fire under my ass, right? I was like, I need to show those guys. I need to show everybody. Like, I've always felt like I need to prove something, like leading up to now. Thankfully, that's not really a thing anymore. I feel like I've let that go and whatever, but
kind of proved it all.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, after that, I started working with Shane Shelton, and
I forgot about that. Yeah.
We started doing Sincerely the Deceived.
Yeah,
and that was nice. Yeah, STD. But I mean, that was nice. That was fun. We couldn't find members that would commit, though.
Yeah.
And that was the issue.
I feel that.
So that led me to Smile on the Center.
And now you're in Smile on the Center.
Yep.
That's
the one.
Let's talk about your journey in Smile. So
yeah.
now, recently, you guys just released, the brand new EP, Nihilist.
Yep.
Really, really good EP, man.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you.
Really solid stuff. Deadbeat's got probably the best breakdown I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, you recently dropped this EP via Modern Empire, which is incredible feat, man, for sure.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about leading up to that. Like how did you guys really, because you released an EP back in the day, a couple of years ago, and then now you've kind of evolved in sound, and this is changed quite a bit. Your sound's changed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how you have evolved as a vocalist as well as the band.
Damn. Well, I mean, a big thing for me, we talked about this a little bit before, but like the big thing that when I think of like the vocalist journey or whatever, the big thing that I always go back to is my very first show ever was with Etheria. And we spent weeks and weeks practicing, getting ready for that show. And I didn't write any of the lyrics. The band had already wrote lyrics, or I took lyrics out of, like, we were a Christian band back when that was a thing. So I just took Bible verses and made that into a song. But yeah, our first show, I froze up and I forgot all of my lyrics except for one song. And I swear to God, I stood there. And I didn't know what to do.
Oh, damn.
And so the crowd was thankfully, they were very supportive. And they're like, don't worry, you're good. And like stuff like that. They were being really cool about it. But that still like haunted me for the longest time. Fast forward to my first show with Smile on the Center. I tried out. And the next day after my tryout, they're like, hey, so we got an opportunity to go play a festival in California. Would you want to use that as your like full tryout and you can come play with us? And I was like, yeah, but that's a month. Like, we have just a few practices. I don't know how quick I'm going to be able to get everything down. So, no joke, my first show ever with them, I had 0 lyrics. I freestyled the entire thing.
Nice.
And not trying to toot my own horn, we killed it. Like California threw the fuck down.
That's
It was awesome. So, like, going from freezing on stage to be able to, like, command a crowd with no, like, I'm just basically think of it as like filling in last minute, like that kind of thing. And yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
As far as writing goes, like I said, Etheria, I didn't write anything, or I took, stuff from Bible verses and everything. Boldly, I would write for other people. I would write, what do I think would connect with other people? What do I think that other people would vibe for? Smile on the Center, I started with that same mindset. Lazarus, or EP Lazarus, I did the same thing. I would write what would people resonate with or whatever. But Agony was the first time that I wrote for me. I wrote, this is how I'm feeling. That was a very like dark time in my life. It was like I hated myself, as you can tell in the song, because I say it so many fucking times, right? So I wrote for myself, and people vibed with it. And that was the first time that I got the type of response from a song that I wanted, but it was because like, I was being true to me, So ever since then, every song after that, I did the exact same thing. And now with Smile, that's all I do is write from my experiences and everything. But we did do one thing different with this EP. This EP, we did 5 songs, and we wrote together as a band. And the way that we did that, because not everybody in the band is a vocalist, a lyricist, whatever. So I gave song topics that I wanted us to talk about. And I said, this is what I'm going to write about. Write me just a paragraph of how you feel about this topic. And I took that and I turned that into songs. I did that for each one of our song resonates with a single member of the band.
Nice.
Every single one is one specific person.
Nice.
And maybe we'll talk about it someday. Some of the guys want to keep their stuff, on the low because it's very, very vulnerable, very personal stuff. So I totally get that. But each one, 5 songs, 5 members, each one resonates with everybody. Yeah. Emerald Hell is mine. That's about the time me and Keenan lived together, and we were not doing good financially, and it literally gave me PTSD. Yeah. There's a line in it talking about every time this air breathes, I'm filled with anxiety. That's talking about the air coming on, because we had the Empower box, and anytime the air conditioning came on, it would suck the power out. Yeah. And that would give me anxiety because I'm like, wait, we don't have the money to do that right now, to use the air conditioning. Like, that's how bad it was. Yeah. And that's what that song's about. So just like different stuff like that, but with every other member where they have something that was bothering them. Yeah. And they wrote about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So going from not being able to write anything at all to now we're writing together as a unit. And I don't know, I feel like that came full circle. Like, I love that about this EP.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's kind of circle back a little bit. I want to talk about Agony, because I know Agony was kind of a huge, like, pivotal moment for you guys as a band and you in general. Let's talk about, like, I know we talked a little bit about the writing of it, but how would you guys say that kind of elevated you guys and changed how you guys what you guys were doing as a band?
Yeah. I would say, so with Lazarus and everything, we didn't really know what we were doing, where we wanted to go with it, like that kind of thing. Agony was the first time that we took months to prepare. We got our music video ready. We got everything ready before we were going to drop it. And it was the first time, I want to say, like, obviously we tried to be serious with everything beforehand, but I feel like it was the first time we actually took the band seriously and was like, we want to do something with this and we want to go somewhere with this. And I remember the first 2 shows that we did, we got the biggest crowd response that we've ever gotten before. We had already released the song before, and I'm sure you know the breakdown line, right? I'm fucking over it. The first show that we played, people were already doing that. And that was the first time that something like that had happened, where they learned it before we had even played it. Yeah. I'd always been used to people learning my songs by seeing it live. Yeah. And now, like, that was a completely different experience for me.
Was that June 1st show?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
All right, so we are kind of getting low on time here. Yeah. Let's kind of start to wrap this up a little bit. Let's talk. Before we start wrapping it up, let's actually talk a little bit about you as a vocalist and just kind of like, because I know I was actually I went back and listened to Boldly, and like then I listened to the new EP. Yeah. And you as a vocalist have just completely, it's like a completely different person.
Thank you.
It's you sound so much more evolved now. Yeah. And what kind of advice would you give to a newer vocalist or someone who's kind of been doing it for a little bit but still feels like they haven't found that sound? What would you give them?
I mean, honestly, it's hard to say because my reasons were toxic, right? I was petty and I wanted to elevate to prove people wrong. And you don't necessarily want that to be your driving force. But find your driving force, right? Yeah. Find your reasoning. Don't just let it be, I want to be in a successful band or whatever. Why do you want to be in a successful band? Find that reasoning. Another thing that used to be in the Boldly days, a big thing was, live your dreams. Make sure that you are doing everything you can to live your dreams, right? And it's corny now, but that was the thing back then. Was for me, I am following my dreams. I remember the first time I played the Clubhouse. The first time I saw a band play at the Clubhouse, I said, I'm going to do that one day. And I think 2 years later, I did it, And that was the whole thing, is like me giving other people the drive, to follow their dreams. That's basically just find your reasoning to do what you're doing and make sure you throw yourself at it full force, you know?
Yeah.
Practice, obviously, regularly as much as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, so let's talk about recently you guys released the EP.
Yep.
You did a show for it.
Yeah.
I totally forgot to mention this earlier, so we're kind of
we're
jumping around.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you did a show for it, and it sold out.
Yeah.
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 So let's talk about being a local band and selling out a show.
Yeah.
It was what, 300, 350?
330 was the technical, like what we were
Nice.
allowed to do.
Nice.
Kind of oversold it a little bit on accident.
Nice. It happens.
Is what it is.
It
Yeah.
happens. But let's talk about that. How did you guys pull that off? How was it? How was your experience?
It's wild because like that was a very big moment for us because beforehand, one of the biggest criticisms that we used to get, whether it's from our peers or like our old manager that we used to have, would be we didn't sell well. And I can admit that. We did not sell well at all. It was very hard to get us to draw. I can't even give you a number of like the most we've ever sold. Maybe it was like in the 80s-ish, something like that, to a show. But that was always my biggest shame was I wish we could create a bigger draw. I wish we could, hustle better and sell more tickets. For this show, we sold 130. That's the most that we've ever done before. And I was so proud of every single member of the band that was able to pull that off and everything. And I am a very, I try to stay as down to earth as possible. I don't want to give myself too much credit. So yes, it was the first heavy show since COVID, right? So it very well could have had something to do with it. We'll have to see on our follow-up show if we're able to do the same thing. But COVID probably had a big part to play in it. But I think the biggest thing was our release plan for the EP, getting everybody over the last 6 or so months, getting them used to the new material and making sure that everybody was excited to hear that material. The lineup, I handpicked the lineup, and it was bands that I personally wanted to play with and thought would fit the show really well. And I think all of that just, meshed together to make that shit popped off.
Yeah.
And it popped the fuck off. It was nice. It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for being here. It's been awesome talking to you. I wish we had more time, but the cameras will cut off on us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts? Anything that you want to give to the audience? Anything that you think a new hustler, a new musician should know when they're first starting out?
Just follow your dreams.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. No, it's true though. I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You either do it or you don't do it.
Listen to Boldly We Rise, the Archaic Dream. No. But yeah, I mean,
seriously, I'm gonna link it.
like I said earlier though, find your reasoning. Find your reasoning, and like Homer Simpson put Maggie, the picture, in front of his nuclear job or whatever, right? And he said that's his reason for going through the hell that he went through. That is funny or whatever, but it's real. Find your reasoning, and it helps you push. Mine was just petty.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's find your reason for real though. If you have a solid reason, you'll pretty much do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I just realized we went through this entire thing, and I don't think we said your band name once.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, check out Smile on the Center, Nihilist EP, out via Modern Empire Records. Good shit.
It'll be on the thumbnail.
Yeah. If you want to book a music video, Dad Life Visual Media, that's me. I do music videos. That's fun.
That's true. All right. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me, man. Again, for real. Thanks for rolling through. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, this was fun.
It's been awesome chatting with you. I really am excited to put this one out here.
Same.
Out there. So,
yeah.
Hustlers, thanks again for hanging out with us hanging out with me as I talk to Jacob Eldridge from Smile on the Center. We're out of here. Peace!